Hello everyone, I'm Evans, currently partner at Gumi Cryptos, and glad to meet you guys all here. And now we are welcoming our panelist speaker, Victor, co-founder of Manta Network. YJ, head of APAC for Chromia. Anthurine, co-founder and CMO for EthStorage. Sid, co-founder and CEO of Skate.
Oops.
Yep, I think we can start. So I will do a quick self-introduction. I'm Evans, currently partner for Gumi Cryptos. So Gumi is a boutique venture capital firm based in San Francisco, and we actually founded in 2018. And we're an early investor for OpenSea, YGG, 1inch, and Hashflow. And then the fund 2 side, we're looking into modular blockchain, consumer apps, DeFi. We have like 110 million fund size right now, and we're deploying to like 30 projects for our fund 2. And I would like our panel speaker to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Victor, co-founder of Manta Network. Manta is like the first and largest modular L2 in on Ethereum, and we are like start from 2020, start from building ZK applications, and we were in Polkadot ecosystem before, and then build more stuff on top of Ethereum since last year, and we are right now I think on the top 5 L2 by TVL. On the peak we are the top 3, and there were 2 billion TVL on top of Manta, and we also have Yeou bearing ETH, Yeou bearing stable coin. Right now we also focus more on the real world asset built on top of our layer 2.
Hey guys, I'm YJ, the head of Asia Pacific for Chromia, helping out with their BD and go-to-market strategy. So Chromia is a data-centric layer 1 blockchain platform that's focusing on attracting good games and also attracting projects who are dealing with large sets of data to partner and build on us. Previously, I was the head of portfolio over at Defiance Capital, so I was managing the venture-related investments, and subsequently joined Chromia to help out with their BD.
Hey everyone, I'm co-founder and CMO of EthStorage. So EthStorage is a layer 2 native storage network for Ethereum. Basically, we can help you to lower your cost 1,000 times compared with store on Ethereum directly, 100 times compared with store other layer 2 directly. So we're not competing with all the other layer 2. We're actually helping them to scale in terms of storage level. Another thing is we receive 2 grants from Ethereum Foundation so far. Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Siddarth, co-founder and CEO of Skate. At Skate, we are trying to build a universal application layer that would enable EVM apps to run on thousands of chains with one global state. Prior to this, we were called Range Protocol, and our focus was more on DeFi liquidity management. Then we were sort of looking into building a cross-chain liquidity, because with all the rise of modular blockchain, liquidity fragmentation has been one of the big issues. But with Skate, we are trying to sort of generalize that infrastructure that can enable these redundant apps to run with one global state across all the EVM and non-EVM ecosystems.
Yep, sounds good. So I think for our panelists, we have a different type of edge here. Someone is doing storage, someone's doing chain abstraction, someone's doing execution layer. And I think Chromia is good at database stuff. So I think the next question is gonna talk about the definition and benefits for modular blockchain. Actually, what is actually modularity, and what are the benefits for modular blockchain in this space? Maybe you can start from Sid.
Yeah, so how we see it's basically a transition, a step forward into the Web3 side of things. So far, we initially developed certain use cases, have proved how blockchain can sort of be integrated with real world use cases and all. But now we are sort of going to tackle new kind of use cases which require certain customizations, be it on the throughput side, be it on say privacy side, or any other use case. So how we see it is it gives you all the kinds of different ways to sort of customize, say, be it at an application level, execution level, consensus level. So that's how I sort of see it.
Yep.
Sure. So as we can see, we are moving from single blockchain to modular blockchain. So previously, there's only one chain. That means like you have to do everything, scalability, consensus on one chain. But now, so we have like 4 different layers. We have DA layer, consensus, we have, layer 2 and the execution layer. And everyone here, like you mentioned, is doing like different things. That means the combination interoperability is a huge, group, right? For example, like I mentioned before, so we are a layer 2 for like storage, but we're not competing with other layer 2. What does that mean? That means like we can be a layer 3 storage layer for all the other layer 2 as well. So it's just like an adapter. So basically, as one of the components, you can always adapt to different combination. So in that ways, that means like if you need something, you can just add into that. If you don't need something, basically you can get rid of that. So it gives like much more flexibility for the whole blockchain ecosystem.
Yeah, probably just touch base a bit more on Chromia being modular. So it's a data-centric layer 1 modular blockchain platform. And we integrate the strengths of a relational database and blockchain technology. So the outcome is a secure, decentralized database that is also an efficient blockchain with advanced data capabilities. So this makes it possible to query large data and complex data directly on-chain on Chromia. It also enables 100 read and writes operations that can be done in one transaction. This makes it suitable for any dApps that are dealing with large sets of data to work seamlessly on us. So yeah, Victor?
Yeah, like when we mention like modular, I think basically in this space, most of people will think about Celestia, and they're the first project like start to initiate this concept. And there's like comparison with Solana, which is monolithic like a blockchain, which is like everything consensus and execution they combine together. So like basically like at the beginning the Celestia is only do like DA is like data availability. That is like really hard to make people understand, but they take like 9 months to actually create this concept, which is modularity. Just make DA as a separate blockchain, and then besides DA right now, execution can be a separate blockchain, like settlement can be separate blockchain, and all of these applications can be part of modularity as well. So I think this is kind of the concept, like get more and more use cases in the space.
Yep. I think as Anthurine mentioned, modularity is about like flexibility and composability in the space, and it also creates a more collaborative environment for blockchain builders. So I think next question we're touching to the use case. Like, what are the successful implementation cases of like modular blockchain, and what are some like real world application that can be like benefit from modular stack? Maybe we can start from Victor.
From Manta's like perspective, basically we are the first like L2 integrate like a modular DA like from on both testnet and mainnet. Like we integrate on testnet, integrate Celestia on testnet like last year July, and integrate on mainnet is around December last year. From December from December until now, we basically save like 2 million gas fee compared to the Ethereum DA. And even after 4844, I think we are still the cheapest layer 2 compared to all of the others. And from user perspective, they benefit a lot because at the same all of the other benchmark, the throughput and TPS are the same situation. Like we are just super cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So for Chromia's modularity, probably explain a bit more on the gas fees part. It's a customizable fee model where end users probably might not have to pay for gas fees when they are interacting or making a transaction on Chromia's dApp. For us, we have a huge focus on gaming. So what we are trying to do as compared to other blockchains is we are trying to allow games to have more aspects of their games to be fully on-chain on Chromia. So we think that gamers subsequently can own a lot more in-game assets, which helps them with like in-game economics, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, so for ETH storage, there are like two use cases I want to mention. The first one is like I mentioned before. So we are 1,000 times cheaper compared with store on layer 1 directly, and 100 times cheaper compared with store on other layer 2 directly. And also the capacity can be PB level. So in that case, we actually help a lot of the on-chain, AI, for example, like OQML and ZKML, help them to execute on-chain, because they actually require a large capacity for the on-chain storage. That's the first one. And the second one, like Victor mentioned before, so after the Danquan upgrade, all the layer 2 has to submit their data into the DA layer. It can be a Ethereum DA, Celestia, Eigen DA, and other DA solution. But all DA solutions are not going to maintain your data forever. For example, 4844 will maintain your data for 18 days. Celestia is about 1 to 3 months. Eigen DA is about 14 days. So after that, the data will expire. So EthStorage is actually integrated with all the DA solution to help maintain the data forever. So in that way, it's more secure. For example, so we're working with Manta and the Celestia to help them just maintain the data forever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the other people on this panel, like they are like a very good example of the real use cases that have come from the modular side, be it like the privacy in the ZK use cases with Manta, the gaming throughput with like Chromia, or like data side on the EthStorage side. I think how we see ourselves is basically like enablers for certain part of it, mostly focused on DeFi so far, but now sort of generalizing it. Like from our perspective, the key theme that we have seen is that now with so many EVM chains emerging, we were helping a lot of project teams in terms of scaling their liquidity across a lot of these new ecosystems, because right now in the current model, what you have is with every EVM ecosystem, your cost for sort of building liquidity and scaling increases horizontally as you have to sort of give incentives on each of these ecosystems. And then one more thing that we were sort of then going from there is like, what if we have a single liquidity depth across all the chains? So we started building this tech stack for having like a global DEX, which has the same liquidity bitmap for certain pairs. But then from our perspective, the bigger issue we saw is that on all these new ecosystems right now, what's happening is like 90% of the development efforts on the like application level goes on sort of forking the key themes that you require. Like everyone would require a basic DEX, a liquidity lending market, NFT marketplace, and all that. So right now, most of the development efforts go on that side. From our side, we are trying to build this infra where you can have a shared state across all these chains. So then now, all these different application developers can actually use the real functionality that are supported by these modular ecosystems, be it like gaming or like a derivatives market or whatever. Yeah.
Yep, sounds good. I think Sid actually mentioned that about the universal settlement and the liquidity layer. So I guess the next question, we're going to talk about the interoperability and cross-chain messaging stuff. So like how you guys look at an interoperability and how actually modularity enhance the interoperability between like different blockchain network. Maybe we can start from Sid.
Yeah. So like I have a certain thesis on this side. Like right now you have like super proficient teams who are working on application side, like Uniswap or Blur, like all these teams. And then you have very proficient teams who are working on the interoperability side, like Hyperlane, XLR, Layer 0 and all that. But right now, both of these things work in like a decoupled way. So right now we are talking about the modular thesis, but like the way the apps are implemented are more like suitable for monolithic chains because they are not actively interacting. Only thing that these interoperability protocols are supporting at this point is like general message passing. But I think to achieve real modularity, you have to couple them at certain level. So that's how I'm sort of looking at it. I think we need to sort of work in that direction where the interaction between these different chains, like if say there's a particular chain which is more suitable for gaming, but there is a component of it where you need a certain DeFi use case for which there is another chain which is more suitable. But if you you don't have a good UX in terms of interacting between them, then it won't get real like network effects to play out. So from our perspective, like that's the key issue that we are seeing. But yeah, definitely like a lot of great innovations are happening in the space, be it in terms of ZK proof, be it in terms of these light client based like RAN state committees. I think that's a great project also.
So I always being asked like what's the difference between IPFS, Filecoin, or Wave with you guys. So basically they're like single blockchain, and I always position ourselves as like a module blockchain. So like I mentioned, we can be like a layer 2 for all the layer 1. We also can be a layer 3 for layer 2 as well. And we can integrate it with a DA solution to help them maintain all the layer 2 data forever. So in that case, so we are always native for our ecosystem, and there's no, like cross-chain solution and all those things. And I think this is really important for Interpro already. Basically, so you're just native integrate with like, all the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think to add on to his point about comparing with like different interoperability projects, cross-chain projects, like maybe a few bigger ones like Huangfu Layer 0 and XLR. I think for like non-EVM modular blockchains, I think probably like what I'm more familiar with is I think XLR is probably a step ahead in terms of integrating that. Like the other projects, okay, maybe Huangfu is quite successful in terms of Solana, but like I think it still take a while for like Layer 0 to like have to successfully integrate like non-EVM modular blockchains. I think that will still take a while. Hearing and working with like the XLR team on how they integrate like upcoming move blockchains. I think that is something that's a lot more promising and ahead of the pipeline compared to other competitors. So
I actually think every layer 2 is more like different countries, and like there's different cultures, and like even layer 1 is the same. Solana did really great job. It's not because only their technology, but they build a really great culture. That is something Base is try to do, like Manta is try to do. We all have their like our own culture. So like the interoperability is something right now more on the asset level, but like in the future it can go to the dApp level. But I think the difference of the different like L2 L1 is their like culture different. That is something cannot bridge out. But from product level, like right now, generally we have a lot of great like vision about like Aveo and Celestia. They all can all of the applications, all of the roll up using them can bridge with each other in the future. But I think in general, what user most like right now is Orbiter. I'm not sure like VCs like that, but actually that is the most active bridge in our chain. And also like besides of that, actually layer 0, like it's not because the interoperability about the application, but it's more like the OFT is really can make the asset bridge really easy. So like on the practical level and the vision is really different.
Yep, I agree. And nowadays we are seeing more and more layer 2s and layer 3s like coming up, and all of them are quite like isolated. So we kind of need cross-chain messaging or interoperability protocol to help on the like asset bridging and the messaging like convening. So I think because of the modularity like stack, what are actually the main like challenges or main consideration for security for that? Maybe you can start from Victor.
Yeah, one of the like concern is like the bridge to like all of this DA. Like this can be pretty big issue, and all of this like DA is still relatively early compared to like Ethereum. But I think this is something being like keep improved like a lot. And another side, I think like bridge is one of the big issue, and sequencer is there's security issue, like compared to like the like all of these layer 1s. But I think the great thing is all of the layer 2 like on Ethereum at least is using like native bridge. like there's native bridge for the bridge Ethereum, bridge stablecoin. So like if there won't be like the situation like nomad hack, if that something happen, or multi-chain hack, if that something happen like phantom chain or moonbeam chain, is all of the asset is meaningless. So I think that is the great thing of the layer 2. Yeah.
Yep. Maybe just to cover on like Chromia and like some of the challenges that we face is having our own programming language called RHEL. I think there are a lot of like hurdles and roadblocks that we face with regards to like infrastructure integration. So I think that includes like probably oracles and also other bridges. So everything internally we have to build it from scratch. That includes our own native bridge too. With regards to working with external projects, then you don't have that many developers who are as familiar on your programming language. So that will still take time for them to learn, because most crypto devs are still more familiar with like Solidity and like perhaps Rust or Move. So yeah.
Yeah, follow Victor's conversation. So currently the layer 2 have very limited node compared with layer 1, and most of the sequencers are central. So in that case, that means like layer 2 is not that safe, right? So that's why the Danquan upgrade ask all the layer 2 to submit the data into the DA, because DA enjoy the layer 1 security, which is much more secure compared with the layer 2. But like I mentioned before, so all the DA, no matter Ethereum 4844 or Celestia or Avail or again DA, they're not going to maintain the data forever. So after a certain time period, the data will expire. So there are like some different solutions. People are saying like, should we use Infura or Alchemy or AWS, this centralized solution, which doesn't make sense because we're blockchain, we're decentralized. And what about like we just maintain the data for ourselves? Then what's the point of you submit the data into the DA layer, right? In that case, you still maintain the data yourself and you're not that secure. So we have another decentralized way of, fully help you to maintain the data in a decentralized storage layer, because we are enjoying the layer 1 security. So in that case, your data will be secure as well. Yeah, I think that's one of the main, security we're facing when we talk to different layer 2 as well. Yeah.
I think from my end, I'll focus more on like, first of all, the liquidity and the application level of things. So like for one example, we were working with Ondo team for sort of scaling the liquidity of their yield bearing token USDY on multiple chains. So right now, like the way we were doing it at that time was that you have one core liquidity source where you have to most of the liquidity, but then they want network effects of other ecosystems. So they want to bootstrap liquidity on other ecosystems. So with the current model, like you have to sort of just build massive liquidity on all the chains to have any network effects, or you need like some active liquidity managers like what we were doing, where you can have a small liquidity on other chain, but that being super actively managed, so that whenever we need to rebalance, we can pounce on the liquidity through these private market makers or through some other way of rebalancing on the core chain's liquidity. But even with that, yeah, you are exposed to certain toxic flows in terms of managing arbitrage flows that LPs have to suffer from. So due to that, I think like that's one of the big issues that you will face. You need to have one single liquidity layer that sort of has, again, some level of shared state. I'm using that word again and again, but that's where you have to go to sort of improve on that side of interactions, because no matter what the use case is, we are working on an industry where we look forward to sort of tokenizing these assets. So you need some kind of secondary market component no matter what use case you are tackling. So that's where like liquidity plays a big part. Another thing, I think, as I mentioned, the application fragmentation, where a lot of development efforts go on forking the basic themes, then you can work on innovative use cases. So like I was talking to like someone on this who's like more focused on the Solana ecosystems, and we have had this like modular versus monolithic kind of debates. But one thing that I've seen recently is that especially at the application level, if say Solana has like 5 AMMs, then if say a new development team is starting to do something on Solana, they would feel, okay, this is a very saturated space. We would not focus on sort of building another AMM. So they will try to do something new. So like you're looking at like a lot of new kind of products like Parcel, Grass, and these kind of Tensor, all these coming up on Solana side. But if I am a developer on Ethereum side, I have like a lot less effort required. I can just fork a certain theme that worked on Ethereum on a new EVM chain and quickly launch a token and sort of make money. So that's where I feel like a lot of like mindshare has been going. So that's one of the issues that's emerging. But I think eventually we'll mature to a place where you actually get back to innovating on the application level.
Yep, sounds great. So I think since we are in Thailand today, so we might talk about like the vision for the future. So just wondering, what actually like our panelists like bullish on for next generation technologies in South Asia for like blockchain side? Maybe you can start from Sid.
So me and most of our core team are based in Singapore. So I'll say from that context, I think the regulatory authority there, MAS, has been working pretty actively in terms of tokenizing the financial industry in different forms. So money market funds are being converted to like VCC tokens through this Project Guardian. A lot of big investment banks are coming on that side. So I think that's a very bullish scenario that I'm seeing there. Yeah, I mean that's where I've got most of the exposure on that Web 2.5 side of things. So that's most.
I think in general, not only Southeast Asia, but the whole Asia side is very active on the D app compared with other like infra something. And in terms of the app, I'm really bullish on, for the new, like the gaming, probably like the on-chain, fully on-chain game and some AI related like app. And I think we can give them like fully support in terms of the capacity for the on-chain storage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in Southeast Asia, and this conference reflects it. Like, there's a lot of like gaming related booths, and just in Southeast Asia, you have like quite a few gaming related chains, not just Ronin, but newer ones like Ancient 8 or even Sophon that's backed by Beam and also Guildfire. So I think in Southeast Asia, you do have quite a couple upcoming gaming related blockchain that's getting quite competitive, but they also do have like the active users that they are able to attract. So I think it's still going to be quite exciting as long as there's more fun games for the community here to play.
Actually, I'm like recently moved from like New York to Malaysia, and the one reason we really want to like get adoption in like in general Asian area. I think like building infrastructure is great. Like we spend like 4 years build different infrastructures, but when it go to adoption, like I think most of our users are in Asia, like maybe Korea and like Indonesia and all around this area. And I mean we are more focused on capital efficiency, yield bearing token, all of that. But I think on top of it, like we are also try to bring more like real world assets on top of Manta, and through that there can be also like TradeFi money into blockchain, and we also working on a lot of education stuff and social impact stuff to bring this kind of like impact for like from Web3 to Web2.
Yeah, so I think there's always a debate on the narrative from like east to west. Like for west side, people are building infrastructure, and for South Asia or Asia side, we are focused more on the application layer. So a lot of gaming companies, fully on-chain games, DApps, real asset, I think they are kind of like the main topic for South Asia. And yeah, I think it's end of our panel. And thanks for everyone for listening.
That's next.